Hi guys, the Social Network project 2.0 is here, and this time we are going to use not only Django itself, but also we will bring in JavaScript on the front end. So if you have seen the Django and JavaScript tutorial series here on my channel, this project will not only summarize everything we've learned so far, but it will also bring in some pretty cool additions, like for example the notification system. So we are going to build a more modern and user-friendly site, bringing all the functionalities from the first version and adding a few more. So in a nutshell, let's see some of the new features. Alright guys, so before we actually start to code, before we set up our project, let's just have a look around what we are going to build. I just want to note that this project isn't 100% ready just yet, but I want to show you some features that might seem pretty cool and might convince you to take this journey with me and subscribe to the channel and stay around for some time. So let me begin by adding a post. We can add it by pressing this button. A model will appear. We can select a particular image over here. So I'm just going to grab this one and I'm going to put in the body test content. Okay. So then I'm going to press save. In the background, we can see that this image has been added, and over here we have an alert with a confirmation that this image has been successfully sent. So let me close this. We can scroll down, we can like a particular post, we can see the details, and if we scroll to the end, we can press the load more button to see more posts. Okay, and right now we have a confirmation that there aren't any posts to load. Over here at the main board, we see the posts that belong to us and the users who we are following. So if we take a look at my profile, over here we have the following, the followers, and how many posts we have written. So if we press on the following, here we see the people that are following, and over here we see our followers. So we can, for example, also follow this test user 5, and over here we have just the number of posts, and here are the posts that we have written down. We can change our avatar, so let me select an image and I'm going to choose this one. So over here we have a preview. Let me just select area that I want to upload as the avatar, and then I'm just going to press save changes, and as you can see, the avatar has been updated. We can also select and change the background, so let me do it very quickly, and let me grab this one. Here we have a preview, and let's confirm, and as you can see, the background has been changed as well. And then we have the notification system, and next to the bell icon, we will have an envelope icon. So the envelope icon will stand for the messaging system. And as you can see, the avatar hasn't been updated over here. So this is something that we need to fix, and we will do it once we are going to create this functionality. For now, for this to be updated, we need to reload the page. And as you can see, there it is. So going back to the messaging system, I'm still thinking how to approach this topic, because we can do it in at least two ways. We can create a real-time chat application with the users that we are, for example, following or want to follow, or we can have a regular messaging system that would look kind of like an email box, where we will have some categories: messages sent, messages received, messages that we've already read, messages that we didn't read, messages that have been moved to trash, and so on. This approach would require us to reload the page in order to see if somebody wrote us back or simply wrote us a message. So I'm still thinking about those two approaches. If you have your preferences, please leave a comment below. But as mentioned before, this messaging system will be added at the end of the project. Alright guys, so without further ado, let's start coding. Alright guys, so the first thing that I'm going to do is to head over to the desktop, and over here I'm going to create a new virtual environment, and I'm just going to use Python 3.8 for this. So I'm just going to name the virtual environment DJ.js as Django and JavaScript, and I'm going to put in -- Python and equals to Python 3.8 like this. So right now the virtual environment has been created with the 3.8 Python version, and I'm going to access this directory. So cd dj and js. Over here I'm going to activate the virtual environment, so source bin activate, and I'm going to install Django. Pip install Django. Let's wait a few seconds. Alright, so if I type pip freeze, I have a confirmation that Django 3.4 has been successfully installed. Alright, as the next step, let's create a Django project. Alright, so I'm going to write down Django admin start project, and let's call this social proj. Let's type enter, and let's list out the elements, and over here, as you can see, we have social proj. The problem is that if we access social proj, we will see that we also have a directory that is called social proj. So let's actually go back and let's grab this social proj and rename it to source. All right, so we will have this named as source, and inside the source directory we will have this social proj directory. So in order to do this, we need to type mv, and then we want to change the name of social proj, and we want to change it to src. So right now we have src, and then if we access src and list out the elements, over here we have social proj. Perfect. So let's run the migrations. Python manage py migrate. All right, and let's create some applications. Python manage py start app, and we want to create posts first, and then also let's create profiles. So first of all, we are going to work with those two applications, Python manage py start app profiles. We will have at least two more, but we will add them a little bit later. And let's also not forget to create the super user, Python manage py create super user. Let's set up a password, and then Python manage py run server, and let's hit refresh, and there it is. So we have a confirmation that everything is working. Let's also try to log into the admin, and as you can see, everything is working perfectly. All right, so we can actually quit the server from running, and let's open up our code editor. Okay, so first of all, we need to access our social proj directory, settings py file. Let's add posts and profiles to the installed apps list. So I'm going to do it very quickly. Posts, profiles like this. Okay, and let's move down. Over here in the templates section, we need to tell Django where to look for additional templates. So we will have a templates directory in our base directory, which is our source folder, and there we will keep our base HTML for template inheritance purposes. So in order to do that, we need to put in base dir and then templates. So in the base dir, we want to keep a templates folder, and let's put it very quickly, templates, and here we will have base HTML, okay, and we will put some code in base HTML shortly. Okay, so let's scroll over here to the static section to the very end, and we need to tell Django where to look for static files right now. So we will have one main directory for the static, and we will also put it in the base directory, but then we will also have some static directories in our posts application and in our profiles application. And we will simply keep over there JavaScript and CSS files that are dedicated for those particular applications. So for example, if we have a detail HTML, we will have to have a detail.js corresponding to that detail HTML file. And we will understand how this works a little bit later. I don't want to go to the details in this moment. So let's focus on telling Django where to look for static files. So in order to do that, we need to put in static files tiers, and this is a list. So usually we placed base tier and then static, and this is all right because we want to have a static directory in our base directory. So I'm going to put it very quickly. And for example, we will create a style CSS, and the style CSS will be referring to the entire project because we will have, for example, a not visible class, and here we will simply put in display, and we will set it to none. And this not visible class we will use all around the project. We will use it in all our applications. So let me save this style CSS, and let's return to the settings PY because we will need to extend this list. So we will not only have this base dir static, but let's place also base dir, and then we want to go to our posts application, and over there we want to place also a static folder, okay? And then if we simply copy this and paste it below, we just need to change posts to profiles, okay? So according to those settings, we actually need to head over to posts, and over here we need to create our static directory, and inside we are going to place posts, and this is where we are going to keep the posts JavaScript and CSS files. And the same we need to do for the profiles. So let's put in static, let's put inside profiles, let me do it one more time, sorry about this, profiles, and this is the place where we will keep the static files for this particular application. Let's not also forget about the media files. So we need to have a media URL. So let's put in media, and we'll also need to have a media root. So we want to have, like in the case of static files, a media folder in our base directory. So here we just need to put in base dir and media. So inside the src directory, we are now going to create a media folder, all right? Media. And here we will keep the files that are going to be uploaded by the user. So yeah, this is it for the settings py file. So we can actually save it, and let's jump into the URLs py file of our social project. So over here we need to include the static and media files in the URL patterns. So let's begin from some imports. From Django conf, we want to import settings, and then from Django conf URLs static, we want to import static. And here, let's just add to the URL patterns. First of all, static, and then settings, and let's do first the static, so static URL, and then we need to do the document root and set it to settings static, not URL, but static root. All right, so this is the first thing, and then we can simply copy this and place it below for the media. So here we won't have static URL, but we will have a media URL, and the document root will be not setting static root, but static media root. All right, so let's go ahead and save this, and let's jump into base HTML. So for this, we are going to head over to my blog, pyplane.com. The link is in the description. And let's find the article, How to Crop Images in Django with JavaScript. So if we go inside, we can actually copy this base HTML from here, and we can paste it over here. I'm just going to do some adjustments. So over here, we will have the name Social Project 2.0. And then I'm going to add a block title. All right. And then this will remain the same. So we will later include the navbar. So this is where the navbar will go. And let's also get rid of the favorite icon. We will add it a little bit later. Okay, so now we have our base HTML working. So the one thing that we can do more in this project is to create our first view. So let's jump into the posts. Let's go to the views, and here let's create home view, which takes in a request. All right, and let's just return render. And over here, we need to pass in the request. We need to specify what template we want to use. So we are going to create one in just a second, and it's going to be posts and main HTML. And then we need to define what do we want to pass to the template. So for now, I'm just going to put in an empty dictionary, and let's create this template very quickly. So we need to go to posts, and over here we need to create templates directory. Inside we are going to place posts directory, so it matches the name, the app name. And inside we are going to place main HTML. So this is what we are providing for Django to not get confused when we create many main HTMLs. So we are going to create one for sure in the profiles application. Okay, so this main HTML is empty for now. Let's try to pass something to this template. So I'm just going to put in hello, and this is the key, and the value will be hello world. All right, so I'm going to save this, and then we need to inherit from base HTML. So we need to put in extend base HTML, and then let's open the two blocks that we have in our base HTML, the block title, and this is going to be home. So in the blocks, we are providing some unique content for a particular template, for a particular view. And let's put in block content. And here, let's use this key from the view. So we have hello, so we can actually use it in the template, because as the key, we are passing the value hello world. And if we put in double curly bracelets, we can actually see the hello world. But before we will actually be able to see it, we need to register this home view in the URLs. So we are not going to do it directly in the main URLs py. We are going to create for each template a special place where to define URL patterns. So I'm going to create a separate URLs py file. And here, let's do an import from Django URLs. We want to import path, and from .views, we want to import home view. Let's specify the app name, and it's going to be posts. Okay, so it's going to match this one. And then we can open the URL patterns. And in this list, let's put in path. And as the main path, let's put in this home view. And also let's set the name as home view. All right. So now we have this working, but we still need to link it up with the main URLs py in our main project folder. So if we jump over here, we need to import include, and over here we can register. We can include the URL patterns from posts in the main URL patterns in our main project folder. So we need to include, and we want to head over to the posts application, to the URLs py file, and then we need to set up a namespace that matches our app name. So in the URLs py file, we defined the app name as posts. So let's do this in the namespace as well, posts. Okay. So let's save this and let's try it out. So I'm going to head over to the main page, hit refresh, and something's not working. Let's find out what. We didn't start the server. Python manage py run server. And let's try it out again. And there it is. So here we have hello world. Okay. We could, of course, put it directly in our template like this. And as you can see, it's working. But we decided to pass it with the use of this dictionary. So as the key hello, we passed in hello world. Okay, so I think we can finish off over here and we will continue working on this project in the next one. Thank you guys for being with me. Have a great 2021 and we will see each other soon. Take care and bye-bye.